We're back in Darktide. This is after the class rework has launched, so as you can see, the talent tree is now different and actually trees. I'm going to record two videos this session. One is going to be showcasing mainly the bio lightning, or smite rather. I feel this is more fun. This is the most fun I've had so far. I have not tried Brain Rupture since it just sounds... Yeah, it's an augmented version of Brain Burst. So... I mean, Brain Burst wasn't bad by any means, but since the new stuff is over here, we're gonna focus mainly on that. For a loadout, I'm running the Dueling Sword, which I have always ran. I just like it. I like the moveset. I think it does a good job. And then I'm using the stub revolver, which before I was a fan of running any Psyker staff. I also have this auto gun I was using for a while, but I prefer the stub, I think, based off of, you know, the 2 games I've managed to play. But
Excellent. I'm sure you're just what we're looking for.
oh wow, we've already done that. That's nice. I say 17 hours. I don't know if that's a UI issue or not. Looks like it just needs to be moved. Let's see if he has anything. I would get this, but I personally feel that... And again, I haven't used Brain Burst, but I think if you're using a Sail or Smite, then it's better to just use a gun for the most part if you're having difficulty managing peril and depending on what your talent tree is. This knife, you know, I wish I had got that on my Zealot, but it is what it is. The experience is useless. Damage resistant mutants, I won't need on this build, just to go back and see if anyone sees this video and wants to copy this build. I'll just kind of do, you know, slowly scroll through. Then just one more time up, in case I went too fast for the middle part. I don't know if that's optimal, that's just what I've had fun doing. And then, I suppose, we'll look at the Commodore stuff.
Just a thing for you.
Of course, here's the Death Corps of Krieg outfits. You know, very nicely done. This just solidifies that the other outfit that everyone called the Death Corps outfit was in fact more modeled off of Steel Legion, but feel free to Google any of that yourself if you really care. Yeah, I don't hate this. I don't particularly like the gas mask on Psyker. I prefer the classic, you know, Imperial Guardsman Death Corps look. I make no secret that I don't really like Ogryn, but I think Ogryn is really well done. And then Zealot looks very nice as well. The Ogryn outfit I did catch my eye is this one, but solely the chest piece. I'm not a fan of the balaclava look. I would probably, if I were to spend money on any cosmetics, it would probably be either the Veteran Death Corps bundle, the Zealot bundle, or this Ogryn chest piece with the Spike Kettle Helm. And that's just what I personally like. Psyker, I feel... obviously I've bought this. I think that looks good. But then I personally just don't like this style, or... I mean, the trader hat's cool, but I also don't like the cowl that much. But it's very reminiscent of Warhammer Fantasy, I feel. Which would make sense. And then this, I'm not a fan of that at all. You know, but each their own. Oh, Heihachi over there. Was that a Heihachi haircut? Yeah, it was. I will just jump straight in after that. It's already been probably like 5 minutes. So we're just gonna do quick play. To play Public Damnation. We're just gonna double check. Unless it puts us in a match in progress, then we're just gonna fly. Okay, in progress, that's fine. I don't mind that at all.
You'll need to get down to the consignment yard. Secure it and hold position until reinforcements arrive. The heretics want the train for themselves.
There's definitely a lot more people playing, and I would say that this is definitely worth playing again if you thought it wasn't worth playing at all from its current state. I would say the class rework and the way they've rebalanced the enemies and some weapons make it very enjoyable. That looks like we're right at the beginning. I also prefer to run shield. I hope that's not dome. I hope that's just the icon, because I prefer the shield that stuns elites and specialists. The reason I like this build is due to the psionics. I forget what the perk's called, but it's the very bottom one. It allows for you to cast for free. It'll be at the bottom left as like a purple head icon with the Psyker logo in it. If I can ever get it. But that will allow me to use Bio Lightning for free, and a single cast counts as long as you hold down left click and you don't get interrupted. So it looks like we have an... Oh, he's using the staff. He's okay. He's using what I call the Whistling Wind build. Oh, there's our Psionic Overload. So we're gonna charge this, and then we can infinite stun basically any amount of enemies that come up here. And it doesn't cause any peril, and we also gain our stacks that make our skill free. So ideally, you know, you just stun everything. And in this case, it looks like most of our others are heavy DPS. So, you know, I haven't really seen the Ogren go that hard. I just assume that he's heavy DPS. So, like, we can even stun these Crushers forever. And it does damage as well. So, they just can't do anything. And I need to change my mark button probably to Z, just because it's very hard to hit middle mouse button from the right click. From, you know, right click to scroll wheel click. So we still have 2 free charges, is what I'm saying, down at the bottom there. So we can do this for free twice. We also have Soul Blaze so that when we use our revolver, basically as a sniper, it applies Soul Blaze, which will just help clear out some other enemies. Then of course you can always side dodge. You will get knocked out of this if you get meleeed or, you know, blown back like that, which I didn't see if that was an ally or enemy who hit the barrel, but We can literally hold the horde back forever. You know, that's free. Like, it's just free. It's literally free. And it will also show you where enemies are. So... like, I can just hold this forever on my own. As long as a monstrosity doesn't show up. So, I don't think... okay, so Search Force staff, obviously, if you have a different playstyle, like, feel free to craft your playstyle. That's literally why they made the tree. Is so no one felt more... so no one felt tethered to their class, basically. Or at least that's what they said. I personally think it was mainly because of how stagnant the game felt. Like, veterans, you're basically anti-shooter. That's all you were. And Psyker was anti-specialist because all you had was Brain Burst. So, I'll showcase this on the monstrosity, on how it's not that great. You see, it barely tickles them. So it's much better. Now, if you have a horde and a monstrosity, then this is great. Because it's going... you're going to sit there. And you're going to kill the horde. And tickle the monstrosity while you do it. Which is great. I still only have a 1. See, I might have to respec to make it where killing elites is a guaranteed chance, rather than all enemies, but since you're mainly using it for horde control, you should be regenning it very quickly. So these ragers just can't do anything. So it's much lower DPS than the Assail build. But it's still definitely good. Like, it's not something you should just discount because you only want high DPS. Now he's probably only... yeah, the horde's only gonna come from there, it looks like. And that Psyker's definitely got it handled. So Psyker, very powerful right now. I would argue it's probably the most powerful class, but as I said, I haven't played much of everyone. I have played 1 veteran and 3 Psyker matches. I'll take the Diamantine any day. Low intensity gauntlet. What is ventilation purge? I'm just wondering why the why it's so foggy in here, unless they did like a graphics update I'm unaware of. Or a map. Oh, I know some of the maps were made different to make them harder. I don't know if that includes visual fixes or changes. But like, I can hold that forever. And then if I need, I can just switch between the two. So I held it that whole time. But I can lock all of them, then I can switch. So I mainly use my revolver for anti-elite.
Dark gods! That's what these heretics worship, but they're not gods!
So
Never tempted these souls to darkness, hunger still. Do not dwell on it.
I'm gonna go ahead and do this room. So the only problem is when you're at 3 stacks, you will always go down to 2 stacks because you can't generate a 4th. So but I'll showcase the other build that the other Psyker's using. It's neat.
Thanks! Oh, death waits! And glory, perhaps, but mostly death.
This low intensity isn't the most fun to show it, but I can still show it in this manner. And we're gonna go ahead and push up in here. And see, when we take toughness is when we get staggered. But then we can just hit this, and now guess what? The enemies are now staggered forever. And when they blow up, it makes the dopamine go Bert. So but even charging it up, see, I'm gonna get knocked out of it because I'm in the corner with the monstrosity. And that was just bad play on my part. That's perfect.
Masterfully done, brute.
I'm not gonna pick up ammo. I don't think I'll need it for the rest of the mission.
You've got to all get back together before going
Visibility
further.
reduced. Okay, I thought ventilation purge did that. Box in a box.
For the Emperor!
Where's the support?
So next, well, I think everyone gets the idea of what this build is supposed to be. Even if the low intensity doesn't exactly do a great job in showing it.
Some believe themselves above citizens. Not every enforcer realizes, but it's their duty to prove them wrong.
So we have a second stack.
Here already? Right, will be impressed. Not that you'd be able to tell. Get this place secured.
Good kill! Grenade!
I'm just gonna take that ammo.
Target neutralization.
A good thing about those is you can literally just left click and it auto seeks.
Get those skyfire defenses offline. We've only got one shot at this.
This seems a serious injury.
Dead sniper! You should looking for a skull.
But I'm gonna go ahead and get the Medicaid now. When you need the Medicaid, you need the Medicaid.
Watch, learn, repeat. Got it?
Honestly, I feel for what we have, this is going surprisingly bad. But
Alright, now set up a landing beacon to guide in your support team. That's good work. I've ordered your support team into position. They're inbound.
you can still camp this pillar. With the low intensity, there's nothing really to do with that Psyker. And there's kinda two types of build you can do with the, what I call the whistling wind, but not really. Like, you either do it right, or you do it wrong. But the two builds is, like, based off of peril farming. Like, you're either gonna accept the fact you're gonna go to high peril, and so then you get the high peril bonuses, or you use basically a build that allows you to have little peril, and it might be a slight DPS loss, but you can spam them more often. But all of this is one cast, so I can do this forever. So
Why aren't they all dead yet? Neutralization commenced.
See, he just spawned in. Another chaos spawn? That's insane. So this is where the other Psyker is kind of more useful if the monstrosity is very mobile. And you could even make the argument that the other Psyker's better in general, just because more DPS means less less healing in the form of toughness regen. But nope, there I go down. Switched to sword because I had one shot left. I'm glad there's a I'm glad there was a rebalance.
Victory or death!
So that's one.
No surrender!
What even is this? Oh yeah, I gotta hit them with the... let's go with praise. Here we go. Oh, finally loaded. Wow. I'm actually surprised I get a dueling sword. I feel like the Emperor's blessings are always random shit I don't use. Let's take a look at it. Oh, that's not bad at all. I don't know what the difference between the Mark IV and Mark II is. I guess I'll find out. Yeah, we'll keep it. I like the original look. The gun, I'll probably switch back to its original look as well. Now I believe, okay, well first let's go back into our talent tree. So this is what I was talking about, where it's a guaranteed chance on elite kills. And what empowered psionics does, I mean it tells you right there. But empowered smite, which is what we were using, 30% damage, 25% faster spread between enemies. So it doesn't say anything about being free for smite. And this is just on all enemies, increases the chance to gain empowered psionics. So I think that this is probably better than that in this case. Just due to the fact that since you're going to be chain lightning and probably getting most of your kills off of the like poxwalkers or just peon enemies, that whenever you get a kill, if you have one or two charges, you might get your third just from, you know, a random poxwalker dying. So it goes up to 12.5 per. So, you know, out of every 10 enemies, ideally you should get around 1. You know, if RNG works out that way. It was dome. So I am actually going to reset. Hopefully I pick all the same things, but I prefer this shield. 10% chance to stun enemies, so it's just more CC, and I do run that on, my assail build. I was running Scryer's Gaze, but since it ticks your peril up, it's really easy, I feel, to kill yourself with when your peril reaches 100. Venting Shriek is it's the old ability, so it quells peril, and then another additional peril by 1% for each enemy hit, up to 25. And then Soul Blaze, or just extra damage. I'm uncertain if the Soul Blaze stacks are good or not. Kinetic Presence is good, but cooldown reduction just lets people spam their shit harder. So that's why I'm running that. But ideally, well, I'm on the fence between Dome and Bolstered Shield, because Dome is the toughness. Now, I did a terrible job of using Dome. You get plus 50% toughness damage reduction, and you replenish toughness, 10% toughness each second. And that lasts for what? 40, no, that's for 15 seconds. But this one lasts 20 seconds, okay? So, you get 20 seconds of 10% toughness each second. That's good. And then we'll go to the next build, which is this one, but I'll show this again in the second video. And here I have it on elite kills instead, so we can see the difference. But honestly, it's kind of not a fair comparison, because this is going to kill a lot more regular enemies, so I'm tempted to just already go to Bio Lodestone instead. But we'll see.